Hey everybody, it's Caitlin. Today I'm going to tell you guys about my foundations. And in my last video I talked about my new favorite foundation that I've been using, which is this Revlon Photo Ready foundation. And I said I would do a video of me doing my foundation. And I will, I promise I'll do that. But the thing is, I also use a few other foundations and I don't use the same one every day. It's kind of like depends on my mood. And I finally found a few that I actually really like. And so I'm going to explain them to you today. I'm not going to put it on because I already put my foundation on and I don't feel like redoing it right now because it's kind of wasteful. But anyway, so I will do a foundation video. And I'll probably do it with this Photo Ready one because that's the one that I was explaining in my last video. If you are interested though, I can do all three of them because I have three that I usually use. So first of all, I never talk about really my skin routine and like what I use on my face very much, sorry. So I'm just going to kind of go over that a little bit, like the main products I use for my face. Not my eye makeup or lips or blush really. Just foundations, concealers, primers, stuff like that. So also I've been talking about how my skin has been being really weird lately. And I was like researching online and stuff about what could be causing it. And I was getting, I don't know if this is hard to explain, but I've been getting around here kind of like these skin colored bumps, like really little bumps. And I never had them before, and I was looking it up and it said it could be caused from exfoliating too much, which I was doing, and I was using something that was like maybe too abrasive on my skin. And it says that your skin can react to that and it makes those little bumps. So I haven't been exfoliating like at all, just to, for a few weeks to see what happens. And I have noticed they've been going away and my skin has been looking better. So that's good. So anyway, that's just a little update on my skin. It's a lot better. You can see I don't look as, I mean, you can't really tell in my camera, but anyways, I'll just keep moving on. So yeah, my skin is getting better and blah blah blah. So I'll tell you guys the foundations that I use, but I'm going to start off with a primer that I use, and I use this Laura Mercier foundation primer, and it's oil free. I don't know. I don't think this works like super well. It's not like an amazing primer. It does keep the makeup on, I'd say, all day, and especially paired with the Laura Mercier foundation, it stays on all day. It doesn't even come off. But it doesn't really it doesn't feel super smooth when you have it on. Like some other ones feel really silky on your face. This one's a little bit more like, I don't know how to explain it. It almost feels like aloe vera, like that kind of texture. And then it kind of just disappears into your skin. But it's okay for now. I mean, I'm using it up and everything. So that's the base I put on first, before. And it really does help make your skin look a little bit more even, and it helps out with, stuff like that. And for my tools that I use, I don't use brushes anymore because I feel like they're really just too annoying to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just my opinion. But I really like makeup sponges. And this is one I used this morning. I haven't washed it. I wash them. I use maybe once a week, and I wash it every day so that the germs get off and there's no leftover foundation. And you can get a little bag of them anywhere, like Target, CVS, wherever you go. And they're really cheap. I've had mine for a while, and yeah, so I use one of these once a week. And so I've been looking at videos also about how to use makeup sponges, and I got a few tips that said to get them wet and then squeeze out all the water, and then they expand. They get like almost twice their size, and then they're really good for having a more lighter coverage, and you can control it better. And I just really love using sponges now, and I think they work the best. And even these cheap ones, they work really well. You don't need to spend a ton of money on like those really roundy ones that I mean, those are probably really great, but if you don't have the money for them, these are really good. So all I do is, with all of them, I use this. So what I was explaining in my other video, I put 1 or 2 pumps because also it kind of absorbs it, so you end up, it gets stuck in the sponge, so some of it gets wasted, but it's not that bad. So I put about a pump, and then it's like kind of hard to explain. I guess you like dab it, so you go like this, like that, and it has a better lighter coverage than just putting it on with your fingers or with a heavy foundation brush. So you can go like that, and the dampness helps it also kind of thin out the foundation, so it's not as thick, which I like better. I don't like like really horrible like thick foundation coverage. I just hate it. So this helps it like kind of loosen up and make it more thin, which is I like better. So I go like that, and yeah, it works really well. It looks more airbrushed, and I feel like I can get it in little places better with like the corners like that. And so anyway, with this foundation, it's a lot lighter than my Laura Mercier one. So you have to wear concealer with this. If you have dark under eye circles and stuff, you just have to. It's a really light coverage, especially if you use it with a sponge. It's really buildable though, so you can get a heavier coverage if you really want to. But usually I always use a concealer with this. So I'll show you guys the concealers I use too after this. So the next foundation I use, which I'm wearing today, is this Laura Mercier one. And this one's really creamy. It's called Silk Cream Foundation. And when I put it on, it's really... When I was putting it on before, I wasn't using the sponge and I was using my fingers, and it was too much. It looked like a mask. It looked like a really perfect mask, and it never came off during the day, but I put too much. So with the sponge, it is a lot better and it looks really good. Also, with this foundation, I don't need concealer if I don't have any like crazy blemishes or anything. I'm not wearing any concealer today, and under my eyes, usually I always have to wear concealer because I have like purple under my eyes just forever, like it's always been like that. So it somehow is really good at covering but not looking too heavy if you put less on. It doesn't really make sense, but it works really well if you find a way to use it like how you would want to use it. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm getting a little bit too confusing. But anyway, this one, in a way, is a heavy coverage, but not in a bad way, because I don't like that. And somehow it just works really well, and you don't need concealer. It's really weird. So you can see, like, under my eyes, you can't even see the dark circles. It's really weird. Somehow it covers it up really well. And I think it might be because it has more of a yellow tint, which helps the darkness. So, yeah, it's pretty good. This one is in Cream Ivory. It even says on the back, it says, apply a small amount with a sponge. So I think it is meant to be used with a sponge. So yeah, this one I use, and this one. I'd say these ones I've been using the most lately. These two. Okay, the next foundations I've talked about before. And again, I always change my mind, and you guys probably just don't trust me with anything anymore. But, I've been using these sometimes, the Fit Me Maybelline foundations. So, I'm not one color. I feel like I don't know. I used to be really white, and I feel like I'm not as white anymore. It's really weird. But this is the lightest shade. It's 110, and it's so light. Like, when I put it on now, my neck and, like, my chest look really dark, and my face looks like a ghost. So I can't wear this on its own anymore. And I bought these in the summer, and I also bought this one in the summer because I was this dark in the summer. And so I was using this one just on its own. And then, as it started getting colder and I wasn't as dark, I was starting to mix them. So now what I do is I use more of the white and a little bit of this darker one, which is 210. And then it's like actually pretty perfect, like really close to my skin color. So I use these two. And yeah, I use it with a sponge also. And they're really good. They're really light coverage, so you definitely need concealer with these, like, no doubt about it. I feel like these are a little annoying sometimes, though, because they're so light coverage, they sometimes slip off. Like, it's weird. It's kind of a strange texture. You definitely have to wear a primer under them, too. So, yeah. These aren't my favorite, but, like, I'll use them up because why not? But they're definitely not my favorite. I'd say they're okay, and if I run out of my other ones, I'll use those, but I really like these the best so far. So these are my favorite foundations currently, and I feel like I finally know how to use them well, and they look good on my skin. So I'll also do a video with this one, and maybe with this one too. I'm not going to do a video with the other ones because they're just not really worth watching me use those, because it gets messy. I have to mix them and stuff. Okay, so now my concealers that I use. I have issues with concealer because, I don't know, I have issues with a lot of things, but here I go explaining, because when I explain things it gets really weird and confusing, but anyway, bear with me. So I use two concealers, and I don't really like either of them that much. They're okay. I actually use this other one, but I ran out, so I don't have it. Anyway, so the first one I use is, depending on what foundation I'm using, if I use this one, the Photo Ready, I always use this one under my eyes. This CoverGirl Fresh Complexion. And this color is Buff Beige. So I put this under my eyes because it's a lighter coverage and it's not like heavy and it doesn't get all gross after a while, because I hate that. So that's the one I use under my eyes. And then with this one came with a weird mineral powder that did not work from Sonia Kashuk. I did a video a long time ago when I first bought this. I use the concealer because it's really creamy, and I feel like it stays on, like if you have a blemish or something, it stays on it really well and hides it better than like this really liquidy one. So I use this one for blemishes or really red areas. Like I have this red birthmark between my eyebrows, and I usually use this to cover it, and then like around my nose and stuff like that. So this one's good at hiding like reddish stuff, I think. And then this one's good for areas that you don't want it to get too heavy, like under your eyes. So I use that one for that. And then for putting, setting everything, my foundation and concealer, I use the MAC Prep and Prime, which I've told you guys about in my last video. So it's just a translucent powder, and it's very white. It keeps my foundation on really well, and it doesn't get all chunky and gross under my eyes, because I used powder, like colored powder, with concealer before, and it would get all cakey and gross under my eyes. But with this and this, it never happens. It does happen with this one though. I hate wearing this under my eyes. Don't ever use this under your eyes. But these two together work really well. So yeah, that's what I've been using lately. I really want to get a MAC concealer because I used to have one that I really liked, It was one of those little ones, like the little tubes, and I ran out of that a long time ago, but I really liked that one, so yeah. I think I like liquidy concealers more than creamy ones, because the creamy ones get like too cakey throughout the day. So yeah. Anyways, those are the things that I use on my face, usually every day. I switch it up sometimes. I haven't really been using these lately at all, but I occasionally, if I feel like it, I do. But definitely I use these every day. So I hope that wasn't so confusing. I ramble way too much about stuff, and then I start sounding confusing, but hopefully I am not boring and too confusing for you guys. Yes, so those are the things I use. If you have any other questions about foundations, I mean, I'm not a really good judge of foundations sometimes because it took me like forever to figure out which ones I like. But yeah. If you have any questions on these foundations, you can ask me. So yeah, I will probably be doing a foundation video soon. Probably, I'll just be honest with you guys, it's probably not going to be this week or weekend because I have a test, a huge math test this week. My birthday is on Sunday, so I'm doing a lot of stuff on the weekend. And I have a really big presentation on Monday, so I do not have time to make any foundation videos. But I promise I will when I have more time, so yeah. So yeah, that's it guys, that's my foundation and everything. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Bye.